Alright, this is an alarm created with HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Let me show you what it does. As you can see, now what I can do is I can set an alarm for 10:05 and wait for the alarm to play. Once I reached for specific time, in this case is 10:05, you can expect a alarm tone to get played in 2, 1. So we can stop the alarm by clicking on this reset button and we can set the alarm again. Alright, now let me just create the HTML. So the reason for doing it again is the time of recording I mistakenly did not use the headset, so it doesn't have any audio, so I'm recreating this. The player would be playing it and I'll be giving the voiceover at the end. Now I'm linking the demo.css. I've created the demo.html, demo.css. Now I'm linking it to the HTML. I'm copying the HTML now and pasting it into our demo.html. So here this container has 3 children. The first one, you can see the container has 3 children. The first one is image, the second one is h1 and the third one is content. Now in the image it's just a straightforward image, and in the h1 you can see in the image it's just a straightforward image, and if you notice there's a width of 300 pixel, and in the h1 it's h1 which shows this time, and then we have content. Inside the content we have 3 select fields, select tags of HTML. Each of them has the options inside them, which is going to be hour, minutes or em of pm, which would be populated with JavaScript for loop. We'll be using this for loop to populate the hours and minutes. And now if you notice they have used hidden on the first input field. It's because if I get into the HTML and show you, if I remove the hidden, you will see the hour will not be displayed. If I remove the hidden in the first option, this hour will be displayed as a first option. To avoid that, I'll be using hidden as a first option. So when I select the drop down, the hidden option tag will not be displayed. So for the CSS, let me just copy paste the CDN of the font Poppins, so we don't have to revisit again the Google font and create a link and paste it. I have copy pasted it. Now we have used the font Poppins, and there are 3 different variation linked to it. For all element I have used the font element called Poppins. Now let me create the CSS hierarchy starting from body. Inside body we have container, inside container we have image class, and inside image class we have image, and then h1, then content, then each content has, sorry, we have only one content, and the content has select field. Since we have width, we don't have to specify or call in our CSS and give width to it. Then we have select tag, and then we have option tag. Now I'm going to center whatever is there inside the body to be at the center. In that case, let me just call our HTML, and this is how it looks without CSS. So I'm going to give the background color black to it, so that we get some contrast between the container and the content. So for the container, the background is going to be white. Since it's a block level, I'm making this inline block by giving width to it. Width, let's say 500 pixel or 400 pixel. Now to make it at the center, we'll be using display flex, and for the display flex to work, we need to give height and width. It's only when the vertical align would take place. If you don't give height, the vertical align will not be applied. Display flex, align item center and justify content center. And now I'm going to use the same method to our container. So it is treated as column, so we want it to be row, so we need to make, sorry, it is treated as row but we need to treat as a column. So get into the container and give flex direction as column. And height, the font size is going to be 2 rem. I'm fixing the height for font size for the H1. And I'm giving to the option tag or the select tag, only the select tag. If you give to the option tag it won't work, we need to give it to the select tag. Now I'm trying to get some space between the select tags. So the reason is I have not given width to the container to get some space, or there is a mistake in the content. You see I have made justify content center. You should have made justify content space between or space around. That's only you will get space between the hours, minutes and second. That's what I'm looking for. And, fine, that's enough. Let's meet at the HTML. I think there we don't have much. Yeah, you can see I made space between, so we get some space. Now I'm fixing the width. Instead of 100%, I'm going to make it 80%, so that it fits with our you can see instead of 100% I would be fixing it 80%. Alright, now let's make the clock run. Now if you see, this clock is working right now. As you can see, the time is 8:26 and the seconds are going on. The same way we're going to make this our demo play. So we need to create a file called demo.js. So it's going to be a script file, so you can give any prefix. Now we need to get the select tag. Let me just open the console. So I have switched, the internet is off, so that's the reason why we are getting this console error. You can skip that. Now let me get the select tags using document.querySelector all. So in this case we'll be getting only one. So to get all, we need to choose all select. Now if I show you console dot log, so if I need the first one, I can call the index 0. The second one I can call index 1. Console document.querySelector all. So before doing anything, we need to link this script to our HTML. That's only when we will be able to use our query over this HTML. And it's demo.js. Now you see we got the first select field, we got the second select field. Cool, we are able to select the first and second select field. Now we need to populate these hours and minutes with JavaScript. So we need to run run a for loop for variable should variable I should start from 12 and it should run till if it is less than 1, and it should keep on decrementing. Console dot log, just log the I. I'm sorry for that, it should be greater than I. So starting from 12 till 2, you can make this 0 till 1. Now create a option variable and use the escape character or the tilde sign, and then we can write our HTML inside the tilde sign. Before that, we just copy this on our demo.css, just paste it. So you will see we have not output it, so you won't see anything. So before that, let me use the template literal and pass the variable I, and then get the first select tag dot first element child. We need to get the first element, so this is the first element. So get the first element child. Once we get the first element child, then use the insert after element, and here we need to specify the place, so after end, and then add our HTML. So let's check. So insert after is not found. Let me just get this HTML. So from 1 to 12, the same way use for the minutes 60 greater than equal to 0 on the first element, starting from 0 until 59. And if you notice, if it is less than 10, you're getting single digit. We want to stop that. In that case, we need to assign I. If I is less than 10, then append 0 with I, or else just show the I. The same way that goes for the hearts as well. Now let's just check. So 1 to 10, we got 0 as a prefix, so that works. Now what we need to do is we need to make our time running. In that case, it's better I'll copy paste and I'll explain you line by line, or else it will get more time to write individual lines of code, as it's very straightforward. Create object of date and assign the hours, minutes and second into a variable called h, m and s. All of them are going to be single case, and don't forget the am or pm. I'm setting it as am by default. So as the hour is set into the variable h, so if it is greater than 12, so the JavaScript will give the 24 hours time format. to get the 12 hours time forward, I'm just subtracting it with 12 and assigning the variable to h. So if it is 13, then it is going to be 1. If it is 14, it's going to be 2. If it is 13, it is going to be 1. If it is 14, it's 2. If it's 15, it's 3, and so on. And if it is greater than 12, we will be assigning the PM to it, because greater than 12, it means it's afternoon. Now the same way, so this is very similar to what we have done in our for loop. If it is less than 10, just append a prefix, or prepend, you can say prepend 0 to the hour, and then if it is 0, then make the hour as 12 and assign the variable and assign it to the h1. So you can say h1, let me just call the h1 at the end, at the top, get the h1, and since it is single, we can just use query selector and just assign it to a variable called h1. If I click on console, you will see the current time that got consoled. Now we need to run these time function in a set interval of a span of 1 second every time. Function refresh this. Now you can see the time is getting populated. Now let's make our alarm work. Let me zoom in a bit. Now we need to add a button after the content. Just close this content. Button set alarm, and in the CSS just have button, and let's give the background as black and the color of the text to be white. Refresh it, and this is how it looks. Let it stretch 100% of the container, and we can have a padding top bottom 0.5, left right doesn't matter. Fine, that's enough. Like if you want, you can choose the font size 1.5 em. Cool, and pointer as cursor. Oh, sorry for that, it's cursor as pointer. Now we need to set a disable class. So this will be activated once the alarm is set. In that case, opacity to be 0.5 and pointer event to be none. And we'll be adding this with JavaScript. You're working on the wrong file. It's demo. Yeah, it's actually demo. That's fine. Now just copy this and get into the content div and append it. Refresh it. You can see now in the CSS we can have cursor as not allowed. So as I hover, you won't be able to do anything. Actually, cursor not allowed is not showing. That's fine. So this will disable class will be only set once we set our hours, minute, and AM and PM. Now with the JavaScript, call the button in the JavaScript, button and the content, store it into a button, and content, it's a class, so store it into a class, store it into a variable. Now we can hide this for now, and we can also hide the set interval, but we'll need this. So here once we click on the button, we want an event to get triggered. In that case, it's click button dot add event listener, which is click. So once I click on the button, what should happen? I need to get the hours, minutes and second. So set alarm equal to, so let's just define this in the variable at the top so we can use it in the set interval as well. Now use the template literal. It is only possible with tilde, opening and closing of tilde. Now with the help of the first select tag, this is first select tag dot value, then semicolon, the second one, and then a space, and the third one. So let's just get the value console.log. If I click, let's just hide the time for now, the console which is getting printed. So once I click on this, you'll see hour, minute and time. So we should have where is the demo.html? In the content, it's AM or PM. So since we are getting this, we have to make a exception saying that if our text dot includes either hour or either minutes or either the AM and PM, which we have just set it. Just just give an alert saying that set valid time and return is nothing but it will jump off from the function. In this case it is this click event. Refreshes, just click, so you'll be get an event, you will get saying that set valid time. And if to test, if I console this at the bottom, you will see the error, this will not be displayed because return, because it has returned. You see, the line after the return will not be executed. Enough. Now enough for the trick. Now let's get into the actual work. Here we need to set the button dot inner text equal to clear alarm, and we have a content dot class. We'll be adding a class dot classlist dot add, which is disabled, which we have set. If it is proper, if it is not proper, you'll get an error. If it is proper, let's say 9 and some random values. If I click on set, you see click the text got changed, also the button got disabled, button section got disabled. Now if this time and the time which is displayed as an H1 matches, in that case it should show a message on the console. So let's do that. Since we have already set the current time, sorry, the alarm time in the set alarm section, if I click on the set alarm, the time which is set over here, which is 09 and 08, it got set into the alarm, and we need to use it in our set interval function if there is a match. So current time, we need to create a variable it's again a string, but you need to match with our string because our string doesn't have the second. If both of them match, if current time matches with our set alarm, then show the text dot log ringing. Now it's 9:32. Let's just make 9:33, and as of PM, if I click on set alarm, you'll see once it reaches to 9:33, we should see the console message called ringing. We have 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Yes, it's ringing. Now, in place of ringing, we'll add audio to it. Now, let's make our alarm play. In this case, we would be calling a variable called ringtone, and we'll set the audio object over there. And you'll see in the folder we have a file called alarm.wave. Now this will play in place of the console which we have made dot play. So let me just refresh the code, and we have 9. Just make this number lock is not working. Okay, again I think we should wait for another 1 minute. So I hope that makes sense. Now by the time, let's just set a variable is alarm set equal to false by default. Now on button click again, it's going to be true. Now I think we can set this alarm and wait for it to ring. If it's, we will be getting set a valid message, and let's just set a valid message 09, and then what was the time? 53, and it's PM. Click on set alarm, it got disabled, and in 2, 1 buzzing, alarm is getting buzzing. I hope you could listen it. And now let's make this reset button work. Refresh this page. Now to make this button toggleable, we need to add a if the set alarm is true, because we have made it true. On first page load, it's going to be false. As I click on the button first time, it's going to be true. So this function will work on the second time. I hope that makes sense. On first it's false, on page load it's false. As I click on the button, this line is not going to work. On first click, the rest of the line is going to work, and make the is alarm set to true. On the second click, and this is going to work. On second click, it will be working, and we need to reset the button and remove the disabled. And change the text, and pause the ringtone, and return the is set value as false, and then get away. Before that, to avoid any issue, here we need to make this as nothing, a blank. It's alarm set to false. Refresh this. 09:46 PM. So I'll pause this, and once it reaches to 50th second, I'll play. Cool. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You see the alarm is getting a ring. Now to reset this, if you click on the reset button, now the alarm sound is paused, and you are able to set the alarm again to another second. Set alarm. Let's wait for it. And in 4, 3, 2, 1, the alarm goes ringing. And again, if I click on reset, you're able to set the alarm again. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for listening.